everybody to the JCA Sports Podcast. I'm Jose Contreras, aka Tony, alongside my brother Ricky, and we're here to talk wrestling, to talk everything WWE, AEW, and what a show we have for you guys tonight. Ricky, yesterday, Monday Night Raw, day one, and what a day it was, and what a show it was. A lot of twists, a lot of turns, a special surprise. You know, WWE, before they even aired Ricky Triple H on social media, went out and said that he has a former WWE champion arriving tonight on Raw, and we didn't get one, we got two with Jinder Mahal coming out. Everyone's like, "Oh, come on, is this really the guy that Triple H was talking about?" We kind of already knew it wasn't, right? But we didn't know exactly who he was talking about, and lo and behold, Ricky, the Brahma Bull, the great one, the People's Champ, The Rock, entered the building with a huge pop as expected there in the San Diego crowd. He beat up Jinder Mahal, cut a promo. But Ricky, what got everybody talking is what he said at the very end before he left, saying that he's gonna go out to eat because he was starving, but he wasn't sure if he was gonna go and sit in a booth, at the bar, or at the head of the table.
Yep. It was that last line right there.
Yep.
That got everybody talking. That got everybody in the arena excited.
Yep.
We all know where this is potentially heading.
We do. We all know where it's potentially heading, and we're here to talk about whether that's the best choice for WWE, if it's the smart choice, and what the implications that will come from that, what that means for the other superstars that are there, particularly Cody Rhodes. But first and foremost, Ricky, let's get your reaction. The Rock has come back to the WWE.
Finally,
The Rock has come back, and he was in San Diego.
Yep.
He was in San Diego. What were your thoughts when you seen that? Did you expect him to call out Roman Reigns the way he did?
First of all, I was not expecting The Rock. That was a surprise to me, legit. If you ask me who was I expecting, I was expecting maybe Brock Lesnar, maybe Brock Lesnar. Actually, Brock Lesnar was probably the main one on my mind. I know that Andrade had just left AEW, and I mean he was not a former world champion, but he was a former champion in WWE. So
true.
There was some speculation that it might have been him, although it would have been underwhelming if you ask me. But The Rock was a complete surprise to me. And as far as was I expecting him to call out Roman, not exactly, but because we've heard this many times now of The Rock versus Roman. They've been wanting this matchup for years,
right?
So he was there. When he showed up, I was only expecting him, to just play to the crowd, give somebody a rock bottom or a people's elbow, and then that was it. So yeah, I wasn't expecting that he would actually call out Roman Reigns or insinuate that he was calling out Roman Reigns.
Yeah, you know what? I wasn't expecting The Rock to call out Roman Reigns either. I wasn't expecting WWE to bring back The Rock for that reason. There's been a lot of speculation, Ricky, that they were trying to do that last WrestleMania, and with The Rock's schedule, creating movies, making movies, being a movie actor, a movie star, if you might. It just didn't fall through. This year around, it's in Philadelphia. It's WrestleMania 40. Should be one of the biggest WrestleManias there is. From the way it's getting there, it definitely seemed like it's going to be one of the biggest WrestleManias of all time. So then bringing back The Rock, I mean, to me, made sense in a way because WWE just brought back CM Punk, right? It was right before the year ended. It was one of the biggest things in history of the company's history to bring back someone like CM Punk. And you're almost like, okay, well, how are they going to top this, right?
Right.
How are they going to top this? And here they are, long and behold, day one, the first day of the new year, and they bring back The Rock. And from what it seems like to do business with Roman Reigns, Roman Reigns, the champion. So we're gonna see how that plays out, Ricky. But with that being said, what does that mean for Cody Rhodes going forward? Because everybody wants Cody Rhodes to finish the story. He lost to Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 39. Ever since then, he's on Raw. He's been beating a lot of people. He beat Brock Lesnar. Right now he's in a feud with Shinsuke Nakamura. And you could tell that they were holding off something between him and Seth, but that doesn't seem like they're going to go that route, especially for WrestleMania, because Cody even said him winning that World Heavyweight title that's on Raw isn't completing the story. It's winning the title his father never won, which is the WWE Championship, and Roman Reigns is the current WWE champion.
Right.
So, what does that happen with him? Does The Rock coming back now deter or elongate that story from even happening?
Oh yeah. It definitely does, man. As soon as he mentioned head of the table at the end of that promo, I was like, "Uh-oh. Sorry, Cody Rhodes. Better luck next year." That's exactly what I thought. Like, man, they were gonna do this to him again. Last year, losing to Roman Reigns when everybody felt that he should have won, and now this year, this WrestleMania coming up, where it was expected that he was gonna have a rematch with Roman Reigns at I believe night 2 of WrestleMania, and The Rock showing up just put a huge monkey wrench in those plans. And yeah, this definitely messes up his WrestleMania story. His completing his story. This definitely spells a lot of trouble for him.
Yeah, it does. It does if WWE wants to do Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania. Why wouldn't they? That's gonna draw in a lot of money.
They've been wanting to do that for years.
Yes, for years at a WrestleMania event. It's the perfect storyline for Roman Reigns, right? Because right now he's the tribal chief, right? The guy in his family. But you've had The Rock, who was the guy for a very, very long time. And we always said if The Rock was able to come back and do a story and complete that story with Roman Reigns, challenging him to be the tribal chief, challenging him to be the champion, that puts Roman Reigns over. And just like, come on, like he doesn't need to go over, but at the same time, it's like that just puts his character, that tribal chief character, to all-time high if he's able to defeat someone who a lot of people think is the greatest wrestler or entertainer in his family.
Yeah.
So to be able to accomplish that in WWE would be huge for Roman Reigns. But Ricky, do you think that maybe they could, that's not a match that happens at WrestleMania, that it's a match that happens at, let's say, Elimination Chamber?
Oh man, I've heard that. I've heard that a lot on other podcasts, in articles and everything, that maybe that they should do this at the Elimination Chamber, which is going to be in Australia. It's going to be a stadium show. It's going to be, I guess that sits 60,000 people. And I've also read that the government over there in Australia, or Perth, Australia, requested that The Rock be there. All right, now. I have no doubt that The Rock would probably make an appearance at Elimination Chamber, but a match between The Rock and Roman Reigns, that match is a generational match right there. That is a match that is, like, as they say, once in a lifetime. Just like how when he faced John Cena, even though they faced twice, but it was a generational match, including a match that he had with Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 18, another generational match. And when you think of that match, you think of WrestleMania, right?
Yep.
Hulk Hogan versus The Rock. The Rock versus John Cena. It only happened where? WrestleMania.
Yep.
So, again, the company's biggest star now, which is Roman Reigns, who's been on a very dominant title run for the past 3.5 years now. A match between him and against one of the, like you said, one of the greatest sports entertainers, wrestlers in the history of this company, it has to happen at WrestleMania. Not to mention the fact that this is WrestleMania 40 years, right? So if this match is going to happen, it has to happen at WrestleMania, and I honestly don't see it happening anywhere else. Even though WrestleMania doesn't need it because it's going to sell out no matter what. WWE is hot right now. It doesn't need this match. But if this match is going to happen, it can only happen at the grandest stage of them all.
That's such a good point. Because you have two iconic wrestlers, two big names in this industry. When you talk about the Mount Rushmore of wrestling, The Rock is in it, and Roman Reigns is making a case for him to be in it in the future. You're gonna have a lot of people, like a lot of younger generation people who are into wrestling at a younger age now, who will put Roman Reigns in that Mount Rushmore. Guys like us, we look at, when you only talk about 4 slots, we look at guys like Stone Cold, The Rock, The Undertaker. You could put Shawn Michaels, Eddie Guerrero, you name it, right? Roman Reigns
Right.
is definitely in that discussion. So when you have two guys like that, this is like The Rock and Hulk Hogan, Ricky, and WrestleMania 18, Icon versus Icon. The difference is both Rock and Hogan were somewhat in their primes, right? They were still wrestling consistently around that time. Both The
Right.
Rock and Roman aren't wrestling consistently. The Roman Reigns
And
between the two,
The Rock even less.
yeah, the Rock even, that's what I was gonna say. Roman more so than The Rock, but even he's on a part-time schedule. The Rock is on no schedule. This will be his first match in years.
I think 11 years. And then remember the match he had with John Cena. I mean, he tore his back.
Yeah.
His body completely shut down. So, and that was 11 years ago. He was 11 years younger at that time. So imagine him now.
I mean, and The Rock's
older.
always been in shape. Always been in shape. It's
always
not
been
like
in shape.
Right. It's not like it's not like he goes away from it's not like he's not in shape. But being in ring shape, Ricky, is a lot different than just being in shape.
It seems like he's getting bigger the older he gets, if you ask me.
Yeah.
The Rock.
Yeah, he is. He is. You've seen the difference. You've seen a much older Rock yesterday when he was on Raw. And that's the thing. That's why, to me, I don't know. Just the names alone makes it a WrestleMania match, but the quality of the match might not be as good as everybody would want it to be. I mean, remember Goldberg and Brock Lesnar, years ago when Stone Cold as the special guest referee, you had two big guys, but they did not mesh well. They had no chemistry the first time around. Their matches way longer down the road were a lot better.
And the crowd too. I remember the crowd was shitting on that match very much because both guys were leaving after that night, so they weren't too happy about it.
But that's another reason why I feel like it may not happen at Mania, because come on, The Rock is not going to be the champion. The Rock is not going to stay consistently as a champion. You could say, oh, Roman's is part-time, but Rock could be part-time. The Rock is not going to do that. He has way more obligations in the movie industry to want to be wrestling part-time. You know what I mean? I feel like this Rock coming back is huge for WWE. And it's good for him because he's going to, I'm pretty sure they're paying him a lot of money to come back. But if we're being honest here, that match, the quality of the match is not going to be good.
Probably not. Not to mention, here's another thing that I noticed about The Rock lately. His promos have not been all that great either.
Well, he struggled yesterday.
This is not The Rock from the Attitude Era. This is not The Rock from even 2003. His promos have not been the best. Even when he was feuding with John Cena, that was, even though he had some points during those promos battles, it's not the same Rock.
Not the same.
No.
Nope.
So even the promo battle between The Rock and Roman, even though it's going to be interesting to see at first, it might not live up to expectations as well.
And the reason being is because if you look at yesterday, The Rock, he tried. It almost seemed like he tried too hard to get into the comedy. Like, you're gonna laugh, you're gonna be happy because it's The Rock. It's Dwayne The Rock Johnson. But the thing is, it's Dwayne The Rock Johnson. It's not The Rock anymore. This is what you had yesterday was the movie star Dwayne The Rock Johnson. That's who everybody was excited to see.
What we had in the ring was Dwayne Johnson trying to be The Rock again.
Yes,
that's basically what we had.
Beautiful, beautifully put. What we had yesterday, or what we had on Monday Night Raw, was Dwayne Johnson trying to be The Rock. It wasn't The Rock.
It wasn't.
And if we have a WrestleMania match between Roman Reigns and Dwayne Johnson, it's not going to be the match everybody wants to see. It's not, the quality is not going to be there. The promos are going to be entertaining to a degree, but if you get Dwayne Johnson, the one we saw on Monday Night Raw, Ricky, it's not going to be, to me, WrestleMania worthy. The names alone make the match. That's why I feel this needs to happen at Elimination Chamber. If you put it in Elimination Chamber, it's not the spectacle that everyone would want it to be, right? Because you still have the Elimination Chamber match that will probably be a championship match for the other titles, or it'll be a number one contender spot for a title, right? And then you can put Rock and Roman at the main event or before, wherever you want to put it. And in Australia, in a $60,000 stadium, $60,000 capacity stadium, you'll still generate a lot of money and a lot of interest going into WrestleMania, which, by the way, Cody Rhodes looks even better defeating Roman Reigns, if he does at WrestleMania, after Roman beats The Rock, if that happens in Elimination Chamber.
I don't see it though. I just don't see. I don't see this company. Even though Triple H is running the show now, Vince McMahon is out, right? But I don't know. I feel like Triple H is not the Triple H from NXT when he was running NXT. I think he's now main roster. Like he has the main roster mentality now, where you want to drive revenue, you want to drive interest. If you can get these, past stars like The Rock, like Batista or The Undertaker or Brock Lesnar or Stone Cold Steve Austin, anybody, if you can get these guys somehow to come back and be a part of your show, you're gonna do it, and you're gonna put those guys above, unfortunately, above your full-time talent, so you can drum interest. And I just don't see them putting this match, which is a spectacle, like we said, a generational spectacle match. I don't see them putting it on another pay-per-view other than WrestleMania. I just don't see it.
See, that was the one knock on Vince McMahon I think a lot of us had, is that he would bring back guys like Brock Lesnar to take away opportunities from wrestlers who were hot, right? Yeah. And you have right now WWE, it's a good problem to have, but they have a lot of hot wrestlers out right now. I mean, let's just get away from the champions, right? Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, two of the biggest attractions. You just brought back CM Punk. Cody Rhodes is hot. Like he's a fan favorite, especially to a lot of the younger generation. You still have Jey Uso's on the come up. You have Drew McIntyre, who had a great story with. It's probably still going to continue with Seth Rollins. You just brought back Randy Orton. You have LA Knight, who's still a crowd favorite. I mean, the list goes on.
And Gunther, you can't forget about Gunther.
Gunther's been amazing. Damian Priest still holds the Money in the Bank briefcase. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. There's plenty of people I didn't mention. Sami Zayn is still over. Kevin Owens. I mean, you name it. There's a lot of guys who deserve a title shot, in my opinion. Bringing back The Rock is going to be great. Yes, trust me, I want to see Rock and Roman. I just don't think it's the right thing to do when you still have the story of Cody Rhodes, which I believe if you make Cody Rhodes the champion at WrestleMania, defeating Roman Reigns to finally complete his story, to win the championship his father never did, not only will be emotional, Ricky, but you will win over so many fans, casual fans, more than, I guess, the guys like us who read the dirt sheets and the internet fans, right? But the casual, you would win over so many friends. So many of the younger generation will love WWE. You know what it'll bring me back to?
What?
The one WrestleMania moment, the one WrestleMania pay-per-view that's always stuck with me, that where I've always loved wrestling when we were kids, but the one WrestleMania that always sticks with me, even now when I watch and I'll get emotional, was when Chris Benoit won the World Heavyweight Championship. And you had that moment afterwards with Eddie Guerrero coming in at the end, right?
Yeah.
When it's Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit in the ring, both champions, because you had a story there with both guys coming up from the Indies who wrestled all over the world, finally do it at the grandest stage of them all in the biggest company of them all.
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes winning the title for his dad will be like that. And they will have so many kids like I was, grow up, love wrestling, and will always remember that moment. And they will squander it all if they bring The Rock back to do a match with Roman at WrestleMania. Because, yes, you can have Cody win at SummerSlam, but it's just not the same.
And no, it's not. It's not really. It's funny, too, because when The Rock came back to face John Cena, he took that spot away from CM Punk.
Yeah.
And that was the source of CM Punk's gripes with the company back then, which ultimately led him to walk out of WWE, amongst other things that he was going through in that company at the time. So, and if you think about it, when CM Punk came back too, I think the night one WrestleMania main event, I believe could have been Seth Rollins and Gunther. And if you think about it, he might have taken that away from Gunther. But
I agree. I agree.
He became what he hated, right? When Dwayne Johnson came back and took his spot, well, he kind of did that the same a little bit, even though it was never really, confirmed those were the plans. I think everybody felt those were the plans. Yeah. But here's The Rock again, and I don't know if you can blame the company, because The Rock is a huge star. He's one of the greatest to ever do it in this business, and a big Hollywood star. You gotta go with what's good with business.
Well, I don't. You have to blame the company, because I don't think The Rock's knocking on Triple H's door, wanting to. The Rock's the biggest. So he doesn't. The Rock is no longer in a position where he needs WWE anymore.
Well, here's the thing. No, actually, let me cut you out there. Actually, they've been wanting The Rock for years, right?
Right, yeah.
And he's been saying no for years because he's busy. Yeah. Now he comes and say like, "Oh, hey, I'm busy now. I mean, I'm free now, and I want to do this match. It's now or never." And they're not going to say no to him.
Well, okay, that's true, and I guess you really don't know like what happened. I mean, both sides have to agree. 100%. It's just so tough, man. See, I'm one of those guys who wants to see Cody win and finish his story at WrestleMania. I am. Like, and I think, believe it or not, I would rather very much see that than The Rock and Roman, only because I know the quality of the match is going to be way better than Rock and Roman. Look, unless Rock, gets in ring shape. I mean, he has a lot of time to WrestleMania. He can, if he puts time into this match like he does into the movies, where movies take months, sometimes even years to create, right? And you got to stay in shape and in character at all times. You got to prepare for it. If he does, I know The Rock can do it. If he can get in ring shape.
This is different though. Yeah, I mean, this is physical. I mean, this is cardio. I mean, his conditioning needs to get up because he looked a little winded doing the people's elbow on Jinder Mahal.
It's live. The thing about the movies is, as everything is one. You can take as many takes as you need.
Yeah.
To get it right here, it's like you can't. You're live. You're live on the grandest stage of them all. You know, and that's what I'm saying though. That's like, man.
The quality of the match. But Stone Cold Steve Austin came back and he did the match with Kevin Owens, right?
He did.
At what, 56, 57 years old? I mean, we didn't think it was gonna be that, that great of a quality of a match, but it turned out to be a very entertaining match, and I still remember that match. I love that match very much, man. Stone Cold and Kevin Owens.
Yeah, so you're absolutely right. You got me there. You're right. You could make it where it's entertaining, where The Rock doesn't have to get hurt. He doesn't have to take too many bumps. Roman isn't one of those guys who does a lot of,
You might have to create some smoke and mirrors. Yeah, you might have to create some smoke and mirrors. It might have to be a falls count anywhere match. Yeah. In order to hide The Rock's limitations, him being, I don't know how old he is now. He's like probably 50 now. I believe he's probably 50, 55.
Well, yeah, he definitely
in his 50s. Yeah. So that's what they could do.
Is that something you want to see? Does that interest you?
It's look. If they're gonna put it on, I'm not gonna turn away. I'm call it a morbid curiosity. Because we don't know how this match would end up being, right? With The Rock being as old as he is now, and so do I want to see the match? Sure. Do I think it should ruin the plans with Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns? No, I don't believe that should happen at all. But if they're gonna do it, they're gonna do it. There's nothing much we can do about it, and we're gonna watch either way.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna watch. You're listening to the JCA Sports Podcast alongside my brother Enrique. I am Jose, aka Tony. We are here talking WWE. The Rock came back yesterday at Monday Night Raw, and basically called out Roman Reigns. He wants to be at the head of the table. So we're just talking whether that's a good decision for WWE, what that means for Cody Rhodes. That being said, Ricky, if The Rock and Roman is at WrestleMania, obviously Roman's retaining. There's no way The Rock stays as champion. But that being said, if that happens, and that also means they want Roman to surpass Hulk Hogan, they're not even going to mention. I don't even think they're going to mention Bruno Sammartino, right? Because he had like an 8-year-long championship reign. That's impossible to break. Hulk Hogan's the guy for WWE to pass, to have Roman the longest reigning champion in history.
Yeah.
Right? So if that happens, then more than likely Cody probably wins it later down the road. I don't know if they're going to have him wait another year to WrestleMania. It could happen at SummerSlam. Does that not discredit the story, because the story is still going to be finished, right? Like it'll still mean a lot. It'll still be emotional, but the fact that if it doesn't happen at WrestleMania, it happens in a venue like SummerSlam. Does that discredit it at all? Does it mean less?
And they run the danger of people starting to not care about it anymore. They'd be like, that's the danger they run. That like, who cares now? It should have happened last year, or it should have happened this year, and it doesn't happen. WWE is going a different direction, so then people are gonna. That's the risk they run.
Yeah.
Especially if they wait another year all the way to next WrestleMania. I mean, that's what are you gonna do with Cody in the meantime? Feud with guys like Shinsuke Nakamura again, put him, feuding with mid-card guys. The more you do that, the more he starts to mean less and less and less and less. And I believe Hulk Hogan's record would probably be beat by SummerSlam. If that's what they were looking at the entire time, then that's I believe that's the timeline of Hulk Hogan's record for Roman Reigns to beat. So, if it were me, and if that's what they were gonna go, if they were gonna go that direction, then SummerSlam has to be the night.
Yeah, I agree. Then it has to be the night.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna find out, man. And as I mentioned earlier, we didn't think WWE will. We didn't think we didn't know what WWE will follow up with the return of CM Punk, but the return of The Rock is pretty special, right? It's pretty special and something that everybody is going to want to be tuned into. But moving back to CM Punk, Ricky, he debuted at Survivor Series here in Chicago.
Yeah.
Very surprising to a lot of people. A lot of people didn't think he would ever return, but he did. It seemed more likely after he left AEW. You and I haven't had a show like this in a while, so I just wanted to get your initial reaction when you saw that happen. What was your thoughts? How did you feel?
At first, I did not believe that I never would have thought that he would have showed up in WWE again. But if he did, I was expecting him more at the Royal Rumble, and at Survivor Series, even though it was in Chicago, I was thinking like, well, it could happen because it's Chicago, but I thought it would have been a much bigger pop, much bigger surprise if he was like a surprise entrant into the Royal Rumble. I was sort of half expecting him to show up at the Royal Rumble. The other half of me was like, is he really going to show up after all the stuff that he said about WWE, like for years that he said he'll never go back. And, it just made him seem like the biggest hypocrite in the world if he ever went back to WWE.
Yeah.
But there he was. Cause when you think about it, where the hell else is he going to go? He got fired from AEW. He had a really good thing going there in the company. He had his own show, and he let as he say, these little children get to his emotions and lashing out, and then he got himself fired. So, and if that if he wasn't going to go back to WWE, he wasn't going to go anywhere else. And then the lasting memory everybody would ever have of CM Punk is him, choking out Jungle Boy and then lashing out at his boss, making him fear for his life, like he said, the next night on Dynamite.
Yeah, it's dude. When I first off, the Survivor Series card was amazing. The pay-per-view, the PLE was amazing.
Yes.
So it was already good. We didn't need CM Punk for that PLE to be as good as it was, but him coming at the end was just the icing on the cake. It was the cherry on top, Ricky. I mean, I was so excited to see him back. I'm excited to see him back. I'm very excited to see what him and Seth Rollins can do at WrestleMania. We had a little preview when they had that little promo battle on Raw. When it wasn't even a promo battle, it was basically just Rollins ripping CM Punk a new one.
Right. What's fun? What's funny about that promo was that was like the exact same thing that Hangman Adam Page said to CM Punk. On an episode of Dynamite that apparently set CM Punk off and saying that he went into business for himself. That's funny as hell, man.
I mean, CM Punk. I mean, Seth Rollins knew what he was doing with that one. He knew exactly. He was trying to bait CM Punk, right, to saying something or to doing something. And kudos to CM Punk, man. Kudos to CM Punk. Kudos to Triple H for even for allowing him to have that moment. And we're going to see a lot of that leading up to WrestleMania if and only if that match happens. We all expect it to happen at WrestleMania. You brought up a good point earlier, though. I didn't think about it. Like, Gunther, on the hot streak that he's on, definitely could have been somebody to face Seth Rollins at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
CM Punk coming back probably took that opportunity away. But trust me, Gunther's going to get that opportunity eventually.
Yeah,
because that man is legit.
mm-hmm. He
100% legit.
Yeah, because it's not like WWE expected CM Punk to be fired or leave WWE this early.
Right.
I'm pretty sure the plans were in place for putting Gunther in that spot.
Yep.
But when you get CM Punk, who is a needle mover, he brings in the ratings, he brings in the views on YouTube. Just like the situation with The Rock, you got to put him in a prime spot. That's just how this business goes.
It's how it goes, man. But I still want Cody and Roman at Mania. I still do, very, very much so. That being said, Ricky, Royal Rumble's coming up in January. Later on this month, the Royal Rumble will be coming up.
Yes.
Who do you expect to win at the Royal Rumble? I mean, is it a done deal? Do we know already? Just like how kind of we knew last year, Cody was going to come back and win it.
Yeah.
Is it? Do you get the same vibes here that CM Punk's going to be coming back to win it to get him to face Rollins at WrestleMania?
Yeah. Exactly. That's exactly how I feel. CM Punk, to me, is the favorite, and I believe he is going to win that Royal Rumble. You're also going to have Cody Rhodes in there, which also kind of makes it a little interesting. I can see those two being the last ones in the ring, because again, Cody Rhodes, assuming right now, plans are still in place, even though we probably believe they're not. They want to put Cody right there in that spot, believing that he could win the Royal Rumble to go on to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania or wherever. And, I could see those two being the last ones in the Rumble and CM Punk's winning this one to earn the shot to the world heavyweight title of Seth Rollins.
Yeah, with The Rock coming back facing Roman Reigns.
Oh, you know what? That's another one I forgot to. The Rock. He very well could be, because you also got to think this too. Yeah, they can so easily say, okay, if The Rock says he wants Roman Reigns, they can just give it to him, right?
Yeah,
and it's not going to make any sense. I mean, it's going to be like how Charlotte Flair comes and immediately gets a title shot just by showing up.
Not necessarily. Well, not necessarily.
Right?
Because they have a story with Roman being the tribal chief. The Rock can come back and say, hey, you're not the tribal chief unless you beat me. I've been the family's patriarch for so long.
Right.
And you still have yet to even go through me. You don't deserve that monarchy. You don't deserve that title.
So
you face me. And why not? And why wouldn't that happen at the Grand?
But then you think that alone makes him leapfrog Cody Rhodes.
It's The Rock, though. You know what I mean?
I know.
Only certain wrestlers can come back and leapfrog anybody. I mean, let's be honest. If Stone Cold came back wanting a title shot, everyone's gonna want to see it. The Rock, is one of them.
Yeah.
Triple H, I'll be okay with him leapfrogging somebody, right? Shawn Michaels, like guys like that.
Well, maybe not Triple H. Maybe not Triple H.
I mean, I would. I put Triple H.
I think everybody will hate that one. Because that title reign that he had, years ago, back in the early 2000s. That was the worst.
It's because he was still considered a part. I'm thinking like him now. I think he grew up on everybody. But The Rock is one of those guys, right?
Right.
At the same time, because again, me personally, the quality of the match, I would rather have Cody. But that storyline, that storyline's already written itself.
Right.
It makes too much sense not to do. Right.
They could do that, or they could go the route where The Rock wins the Royal Rumble. He's number 30 because they're not going to put him in nowhere in the middle of the Rumble at all because of his age. Number 30 eliminates everybody, and then CM Punk wins the Elimination Chamber. Man, that's going to suck badly for Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see it. I mean, I wouldn't put it past this company to do something like that, honestly. It's as of now, CM Punk is the favorite, but now that The Rock came in and basically put, like I said, a monkey wrench into these plans, I'm not so sure now. I'm not 100% like I was before he came.
It's great to see these guys come back, and I don't want anybody feeling like I'm just nitpicking. It really is great to see these guys come back.
Yeah.
I'm more so happy to see CM Punk than The Rock, but it's great to see these guys come back, right?
Right.
With that being said, it's like what bothers me a little bit is that it's now WWE is starting to get predictable again. It was very predictable under Vince McMahon. You knew what was going to happen. And with Triple H, you kind of had that, like, hey, look, even though Roman, we knew he was going to get to 1,000 days, there was always that one, like, what if, though? Because they have a compelling story with Cody Rhodes and this story, and you have, like, all these, and Jey Uso, right? Like we were actually, a lot of us believed that Roman could have lost a lot of those matches, right? Because the stories were very good. Yeah. Going into the Rumble, it gets predictable. We know it's either going to be CM Punk or The Rock, right? Yeah. We know this now. Like, now it's going to be like, if The Rock joins it may be him. But if it's if The Rock doesn't, then we all know it's going to be CM Punk. Just kind of like last year, we all knew it was going to be Cody. And that to me, that's where, like, you know, I don't want to see it, because that's when, like, to me, WWE loses that pizzazz. Like, okay, let's just get to WrestleMania. Let's put on a good show here, but let's just get to WrestleMania. Everyone knows what's going to happen. Right. And you know, that kind of ruins it for me a little. Not ruins it, but, you know, it just, I guess maybe I'm nitpicking, but it to me, it just kind of, like, it does, you know, it belittles the moment, I guess, in a way. What do you think?
It makes you know, I was seeing some memes on about Cody, and be like, and I guess everybody's calling, hey, you know, you should probably go back to AEW now, because whatever WWE promised you, it doesn't look like they're fulfilling that promise. And I've also read that you know, there's a contract on the table for him to sign, and he hasn't signed it yet to an extension. I believe it's maybe a 3 or 5 year extension for Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, TKO made it a huge. He made signing Cody Rhodes a huge priority.
Yeah, but he hasn't signed it yet. He hasn't. He hasn't, and you wonder when something like this happens. I mean, we don't know how he feels. I'm pretty sure you gotta believe that he's feeling, you know, pretty upset, you know, pretty down about it. He might not say it publicly, but and probably on the inside, he's like, "Fuck," you know, like, this is, you know, this is my chance, this is my moment, and, you know, it's not happening again.
And that's another reason why, whether it could be other reasons. It could be maybe money issues, right? It could be maybe they're just not agreeing.
No, I believe they'll pay him well. I believe they paid him well. They're paying him well. I believe they're offering him pretty good money, because, again, he fits the mold of what they're looking for. You know, well dressed, well spoken.
Yeah. He could be the next John Cena. Well, he could be the next face of the company. 100%. I agree with that wholeheartedly, for sure. He could be the next face of the company. But that to me, that's why it's like bringing The Rock back now. Like, you know, you have a huge show, the Elimination Chamber in Australia, right? You could do what AEW did with All In Wembley, right? Like, you could fill that stadium up, 60,000 plus, wanting to see The Rock and Roman. Like, why not? Then you go to WrestleMania. I mean, that puts so much, that if anything, that builds Cody up so much more, because then you have Cody at Mania versus Roman. Like, right. you're putting all your chips in this guy's basket, and rightfully so.
That's old school booking right there. That's old school booking right there.
And the way I see it, if you have Roman and The Rock at Elimination Chamber, that right there in itself is like, dude, like, WWE is winning right now, right? Because they have this much power, this much influence. They can just put that on Elimination Chamber, and it'll be great.
They absolutely could, because one way, it doesn't matter one way or the other. Business is booming right now for WWE. Elimination Chamber is gonna sell out. WrestleMania, it's already sold out. It's gonna be in millions of homes.
Yep.
It doesn't need the match, but I think the reason that they're not gonna put it on Elimination Chamber is because of the significance of the match itself, the guys involved. It's one of those things that you want to, you know, remember WrestleMania 40, Rock and Roman. You know that's how they look at it. That's how they want to create like a legacy or something, you know, something for everybody to remember that it happened at the grandest stage, WrestleMania, you know. And that's why I don't see it happening anywhere else. It's too big of a match, you know, because of the names involved. Too big of a match for it to happen anywhere else but WrestleMania.
It's a debate. And it's a topic we're going to be talking about all the way up until WrestleMania.
Well, we'll know soon enough, right?
Yeah.
We'll know soon enough.
Yes, we will. And this is why WWE, to me, right now, is king in the wrestling. It's always been king. But right now, they just put themselves on a way higher pedestal, because they got us talking about them 24/7. It's amazing what what Triple H has been able to accomplish, what WWE has been able to accomplish, man, this last couple of months, it's been crazy. It's a really good time to be a wrestling fan, and I'm really excited to see what's going to happen. Guys, make sure to follow us on all our social media platforms. We are now under JCA Sports Pod. That's JCA SPORTS POD on everything. You can follow us on TikTok. You can follow us on YouTube, on Instagram, and on Facebook. You'll be able to catch all our content, all our shows, our lives, everything there at JCA Sports Pod. What else you want to talk about, Ricky, before we go?
No, just great to do the show again. Great to talk about pro wrestling, and pretty soon we'll be talking UFC. We'll be talking boxing. It should be a very good year for UFC. I look forward to UFC 300. Oh, baby. All right. Melina's sick, man.
I know, man. Poor her. Everybody, the boys were sick too.
She got a fever. But what was I saying? Looking forward to this year in UFC as well. Looking forward to boxing. See what happens in what fights we'll be able to see in the boxing world. And 2024, the year of our return. We're back, and we'll be here for you guys to provide what you need.
You guys will get a lot more content from us coming soon. Just stay tuned. Ricky, I appreciate you, man. We'll do this again very, very soon.
Appreciate you, bro. See you next time.
All right, guys.